Welcome to the exclusive interview with the Premier of the Eastern Cape Province. My name is Mvusiwe Kaya, one of the communication officers here. We are going to talk about how the provincial government is responding to the incidents, unfortunate incidents of plagiarism in the provincial administration and local government. Premier, welcome to this interview. Premier, the province is known for its educational and intellectual attributes. How come does the situation of plagiarism even arise in such a province?
Thank you very much. I'm still trying to figure out what is it exactly that's actually happening around this issue. Looking at that these are senior government officials who have been in the system for a very long time. I found them here working in the department. I'm still trying to check whether this has been the culture or what. But I must indicate up front that when I joined the department, I could have a sense of something similar to this, and hence I took a decision to say, let's centralize the coordination and facilitation of strat plans and engaging one of our entities, EXEC, that is competent on doing that. And we did that. All our 5-year strat plans were done through that arrangement from last year. It's surprising that our units or chief directorates will find it easy to still go outside and engage consultants to do such kind of work when we do have internal competency. It's a serious, despicable behavior that is absolutely unacceptable. We really condemn this. It's quite embarrassing, and actually, as a premier, I feel so bad about it. It's just that these are things that you cannot detect early enough in the system. You always deal with some of these at their final product stages. But as government, since the first incident we came across, we took a decision to subject all our current policies that we have, our documents to a process that will actually guarantee the quality assurance and ensuring that we don't undermine other people's intellectual properties. So we really condemn this, and I've instructed DG to act swiftly on this because we can't actually coexist with something that lacks professionalism. As you indicated, we are known on education, and we have been actually producing intellectuals as this province. We do have that capacity. Many people out there have been willing to come forward to assist government. So it tells, and the unfortunate part that any politician that must spend most of its time in the office, that suggests that that politician has got a problem with an administration that supports him. We've been putting this reliance on the system and believing that people know what they're supposed to be doing. It's unfortunate that we're picking up all these kind of an embarrassing things that we are observing. We are trying to put a stop on that, and we'll be working with the universities here. I've spoken to a couple of vice chancellors to really assist us. There are mechanisms in the academia space where things like this can be detected early enough. But you expect that people who have been appointed with qualifications as professionals can't demonstrate this lack of willingness to develop and grow. This is a demonstration of serious laziness. So we can't allow it to continue unabating. So we're dealing with this issue. Indeed, it's an issue that doesn't sit well with us. And we have said that there must be consequences, and we must definitely see the officials implicated being held accountable. I expect DG, as I've spoken to him, to act on this issue, take those people to a disciplinary hearing. People must answer for that. Plagiarism is absolutely a no-go area. It's absolutely not acceptable. The benchmarking, it's what is acceptable, but it just can't be to that level of the plagiarism. In government, we are looking at best practices. We always work with our counterparts, with our sister provinces and others. Some were sharing similarities on almost everything, but it just can't be like that. You don't do your work. You just take somebody's work and make it as if it's your work.
And so in benchmarking, you attribute data and ideas to the people that have produced them. So the difference, what is the difference between what we say in terms of use of benchmarking to improve performance vis-a-vis plagiarizing of documents?
Well, when you do such, you'd understand it from an academic point of view that you must acknowledge somebody's work. So even if you are doing that, it should not really be. Actually, plagiarism should not feature, should not be in our vocabulary at work. We should be talking about benchmarking, but acknowledge the work that you have got somewhere. But it just can't be that you don't do anything. You simply do cut and paste. So it's a very unfortunate situation that we are finding ourselves in. And as I've indicated, that it just can't be understood, because the process of developing or synthesizing any document in government policy or a strategy starts from that particular directorate to a cluster to a cabinet committee up to a cabinet. When it reaches a cabinet, you have already to put the reliance on those who are doing work, assuming that people are professional enough, especially when these are senior government officials. So we are at a point now that we can no longer take it, even if it has been a culture. And we have said we must inculcate a new culture where we are actually putting integrity of what we do at the center of everything that we're doing, where the professionalism should be the order of the day. So it's going to be important, it's non-negotiable. And unfortunately, people will have to actually suffer the consequences of their behavior. And we are dealing with that. And it's also interesting to see this newfound appetite of people leaking documents of government to the media. I'm trying to actually understand also what is it. I know I came into this department with a lot of issues that I've found in the department that I've been busy trying to fix almost every day, almost every week. But these are issues that I'd had, and they can come across as a distraction. We have a lot of issues here in the province to focus on and deal with that our people are really looking up to our government to solve their problems. So we can't really be having
could you then, Premier, say ask the question that is the environment conducive for people to report these things internally, or how are we going to encourage employees who may know of such instances, because these things are happening within their units, and what do you say to government employees at provincial and local government about this thing, in terms of the integrity of the integrity they should have in producing these documents, because these are policy and strategic documents of government?
This situation we find ourselves in has compelled us to relook on how government has been actually working, the method of operation. This calls for us to go an extra mile in whatever that is put before you. We've made this clarion call to all our municipalities and our provincial government department having been exposed to the first incident, that let's begin to create this kind of an environment where things like this can be detected at their embryonic stages. In government, there are such mechanisms. If you talk about the risks units, etc., these are things, because this is a government. When you do this, you are actually embarrassing the entire provincial government, especially if it is happening in the office of the Premier. It actually embarrasses even those who work there, and as you go around, and even if you say you are working there, and the people will just see you as if all of you are doing things like this. They are hard-working government officials, very professional, very committed, who just find themselves in the middle of this kind of chaos, which is caused by the lazy people. So we won't have a space for lazy people, and people will understand that if you are employed, you are carrying on your shoulders the integrity of the entire administration. The discipline that is expected for you is a discipline that must actually lift this province to another level. So we've got to really look at this issue and deal with it, as I've said to DG, that DG do thorough investigations, but those that were able to find having actually committed issues like this, let's not waste our time. Let's deal with that, subject them to a hearing so that people can explain themselves. But clearly, it looks to be a deeper problem than we thought, as you see it every day. So it makes that everything that we do becomes suspicious. It's worrying when you also hear that there will be also some academics who will be engaged to do these works and just simplify it in the way that they've been reported by the media. But it's something that is easily resolvable. We'll deal with it. As I've said, the bulk of our government officials are very professional employees, are very dedicated employees, but we've got to deal with few elements that are actually trying to undermine all the good things that government is trying to do.
Talk to the people of the province about how the administration that you lead is addressing the negative reputation of the province, which has been there for years, where because of such actions, people doubt government or don't have confidence, be it in the safe provision of services and all that. How are you making sure that you bring in proper integrity in what is done, honesty in serving the people of the province?
Well, consequence management. People must firstly understand that in whatever you do, you can be held accountable. So the consequence management that we are actually looking at so that incidents of this nature don't happen again, but also improving the level of intelligence within our system. I've spoken to the legal department to also look at the issues of code of conduct and how do you add this aspect, which probably might not have been crystallized in the code of conduct that we have, so that people do understand, as it is the case in the academic space. So you know there that plagiarism is an anathema. So even here, it must be understood as such that you must not confuse benchmarking with plagiarism. And if you do that, you must acknowledge the other people's intellectual property. So we would want to make that and internalize it within the system. And we are going to enforce it and actually energize the system in such a way that everyone understand that this is how things should be done, so that even those who probably have not yet done this and understand that these things are not supposed to be done. We can't have a province that will continue to be reduced into these kind of things, the bad publicity that we've been seeing going through, mischievously done, whether it is done by those who are leaking the documents out, simply because they do have an access to the system where they should be reporting if there's something. So that on its own is a malice. So they're doing it for malicious grounds. But even those who do that. So you're looking at a situation where you feel like you are leading a department that is at its war against itself, because these are done by other government officials to embarrass other government officials whom they know that they've done this. So we are alert on such kind of issues, but the issue is this should have not happened, and this should have been avoided. So it's not a question that if you have done it simply because someone is exposing you, therefore you can't be held accountable. So we're dealing with this issue, and I want to assure people of our province that this is one area that I personally am going to pay much attention on it, in ensuring that we have systems in place to really deal with these issues. As I've indicated, that the systems are there with universities. Some universities have already indicated willingness to help work with us on those, and as they are actually doing those issues almost on a daily basis. So it's something that is within our reach, and we are going to confront it and get rid of it and ensure the integrity of the work that we're doing.
Thank you very much, Premier.